On this first day of the new year, the English calendar new year, I again give a call to all the people around the world to make their compassion into action. Let our compassion not remain in our hearts, but turn into a meaningful action and help so many more people. And be rest assured that your liberation is through this actionable compassion. So this is how you can find God, you can see divine, you can experience divine in everything when your heart melts with compassion, and the compassion transforms into action of service. When I hear these people, and somebody said that I share stories from my own life, how I learned these values of compassion, kindness, and Bhagwan's ever presence, His grace, His omnipresence, how He taught me. When Krishna Ratan was speaking, I thought I would also share an incident from my school, college days. That time our Narasimha ji was my warden, and all of us were in charge. He was in charge of the Grama Seva, which Bhagwan started. You know how Grama Seva started in Puttaparthi? One day suddenly he got up and gave a discourse, and during the discourse he said, I was reading a newspaper, and in that there was a news that a mother poisoned 3 of her children and died, and took the poison herself, and all of them died because she had no means to feed her family. In that helplessness, she killed herself and her children. And that moved Bhagwan's heart, and he said, what kind of society have we created where people are unable to feed themselves and their children are taking their lives? So he started a new initiative called Grama Seva, which happened for the first time when we were students. Narasimha ji was in charge of the Grama Seva and making the plan and taking the students to different villages around Puttaparthi. And sometimes we would travel as far as 8 or 10 hours to and fro to distribute prasadam from Bhagwan, which was a simple packet of food and a piece of cloth, a sari or a dhoti or something for the elderly. The question that crossed my mind was, yes, Bhagwan is very compassionate, but what would a packet of food and a piece of sari do to the lives of these rural poor? How much will it change them? And he again gave an answer in his discourse. He said, it's not about changing the villages. I want to change you. I want to sensitize you to what rural India is going through, so that when you are capable of doing things, you grow up and you are in some position, you should have a heart to go back to this rural geography and serve those needy people. This is my real plan, to take you and expose you to what are the problems of rural India. That's all is my real intention behind Grama Seva. I also know one day if you go and give a packet of food or a sari, it's not going to change the lives of those poor people. But you would change, he said. Anyway, we went for Grama Seva, and I still didn't think much of it because we were students, and it was a nice outing for us more than anything else. It was a picnic because you would get a packet to eat yourself too on the way, and we were given endless supply of buttermilk to have it on the way because it was quite hot. Puttaparthi and those mandals around it is quite hot. So we used to go like that. Every day, group after group would go, and everybody, all boys, girls would mostly help with the preparation of the meals at the kitchen, and boys will mostly go out and distribute. Even girls would join on certain days. So everybody was involved. One day I went to one place. I do not remember the name of the place, but it was quite far. It took 4 hours through those treacherous village roads, those bumpy roads. And we would all be sitting in canters and trucks. So there were no seats and all that, luxury seat belts, nothing. You just herded into a big truck, and there are food packets and all that, clothing and things like that, and your own food and water and buttermilk supply. And we would just go with a teacher in each truck. So we went to some village. We finished distribution. We had some idea of how many houses are there. Once we finished, we would go with crates of food, and two boys will go to each of these lanes, and they will distribute. And mostly villages were small, hardly 50, 60 houses or 100 houses at best. We would finish that. As we were returning, I just saw that there was one hut on top of a little mound, little away from the village, outside the village. Nobody noticed it, but as I was returning, I noticed it. And I told my friend who was also carrying the crate, hey, we missed that house. Let's go there. He said, that's quite up far, and we have time, we have to leave, we have to go back by evening darshan. I said, let's quickly run up to that little hill and see if there is anybody, and if there is someone, we will deliver the prasadam and come back. He agreed, said, let's have a quick dash to the hill. And we ran up the hill, and went there, and there was a little hut there. And in the hut, there was an old lady. I don't know how old she was, 80 years, 90 years, but she was bedridden. She was on the cot. And all by herself. There was nothing in her room except a little pot of water and a few pieces of clothing. And that's it. She was all alone. And we went there, and I told that we have come from, the Sathya Sai Baba has sent us, and here is a prasadam, and here is a sari for you. She had tears in her eyes. She said, I had seen him several years ago when he was a boy. I had been to Puttaparthi and seen him. And I always, in my heart of heart, thought about him. I never thought that one day he would remember me and send me prasadam through his students. It changed my life that day. The way she said, in Telugu she was speaking, she said, I never thought that a day would come when he would remember me, this old, forsaken, forgotten lady in this little village, and send me his blessings. That really was a moment of truth for all of us, at least the two of us who stood and witnessed that. And guess what? I came back. I wanted to tell this to Bhagwan very badly, that, this happened. And I want to tell you that how a lady somewhere in a far-off village remembered, was so thrilled that you remembered her. And we could deliver your prasadam to her. I know we couldn't do more than that, nor our minds could conceive what else we could do for her. We just were happy that we could do this, and we came back. And I was desperate to tell Bhagwan. But he was very busy during those times, everybody. But I got a chance to give a speech in front of him, just like this boy gave, like a student speech. And I got the opportunity. I said, this is my moment to seize. And I got onto the stage and I spoke. And I told this story, that we went to a small village and this is what happened. And I saw tears at the corners of Bhagwan's eyes. Because he was moved by that story, that lady thought that Sai Baba remembered, Puttaparthi Sai Baba, that's how they call in those areas. Puttaparthi Sai Baba had remembered her. And that was that moment for her. I know we couldn't have done much, and we didn't do much also, but maybe that little thing would have given her so much of strength to go through whatever she was going through. But Sai Baba had not forgotten her. So when we do seva, the transformation that we undergo is much more than the transformation that happens on the outside. I always say, more than what seva does, what seva you do, it is important what seva does to you, how you get transformed in the process. That is the reason why we are doing this. And these are opportunities created for us all to transform ourselves. That's all is the goal of this mission. Left to ourselves, we would not turn our compassion into action. But given a platform where everybody is doing that, it's easy for us to participate. And that is what this mission is doing.